That maybe a single cheque can't reverse an entire chequered career.
Oh, indeed. Ex-BBC journalist urged to pay reparations for ancestors' role in the Irish famine. Now, this is a woman called Laura Trevelyan, and one of her many ancestors, because we all have many ancestors going back to that time.
Well, we do.
We do, yeah. Go back and owned 6 plantations in Grenada, and so she's giving £100,000, and this was in the news a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But people at the time rightly pointed out the hypocrisy, because she's got another direct descendant who shares the same surname, Charles Trevelyan, blah, 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 who is arguably massively responsible for the Irish famine, where like 1 million people died. He was the Treasury official in charge of famine relief. He said some terrible things about how it was a punishment from God and they were idle, ungrateful and all of this stuff. And people are like, well, wait a minute, if you're going to give this money over here... Well, and now she's sort of saying, well, actually, the thing is that, like, he was a representative of the government. So is that now the position that the governments don't need to pay reparations? Is that it should just be the individuals? Well,
I suppose her argument is that she is paying reparations for money her family made directly as investing in slavery, which she feels bad about. But she feels that this Trevelyan, who was beastly to the Irish, and he was unequivocally. I mean, it wasn't just a question of going, well, this is what we do. He did, as you say, make terrible statements, but he did do that with his government hat on rather than his Trevelyan hat on.
Sure,
so if anyone should be paying reparations for that, it should be the government. It should be the British government who...
I think it should
I'm not saying it should, but rather than...
I think it should be this woman.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't want, because it's the government. It's my taxes. I didn't do anything. I bet my dad was like a lowly peasant, just like eating turnips and mud. Like, why should I be paying reparations? It's ridiculous. Also, one of the things that brought it to our attention, one of the people was Martin McGuinness, who is one of the leaders of the IRA, the Provisional IRA, who orchestrated all kinds of terror and murder and all the rest of it. So, how can he be singling out, bad things that happened hundreds of years ago when he's responsible for terrible things that happened directly himself?
I mean, I suppose this is the serious point, isn't it? Is that you don't have to go very far down the generations. 1 or 2 is usually enough, let alone over 150 years or whatever, to lose contact with who has benefited, who has been hurt. How many British people really can honestly say that they know for a fact whether their family fortune was made or lost by any given government decree? It's kind of absurd, isn't it?
Yeah, no. I mean, it's... but this just shows it. But now that she's quit her job and now this is her thing, is going around doing reparations, and it feels like if you're going to live by the sword, you better pay £100,000 to the Irishman.
It's kind of King Lear in miniature. Over to The Guardian now, Leo.